Welcome everyone to Seamless.AI and our daily product training. We really appreciate everybody joining in. We will go ahead and get kickstarted here in just a few moments. Looking forward to providing everyone with our daily group product training demo here. So just about 3 or 4 after the hour, we'll go ahead and get kickstarted. Just going to give everyone a few minutes to filter in here to our product demo. So thanks again for joining, and just hold tight with us for another couple of minutes and we will go ahead and get kickstarted. All right, so thank you again for everybody joining here. As I noted, we'll go ahead and just get started here in 1 or 2 minutes, but just going to give everybody another few moments to filter in here. So thank you again for joining, and we look forward to getting things started here in just a few moments. All right, so you will be seeing on your screen now, as you're just starting to join, our Director of Customer Success, David Toll, will be walking us through a product demo today. So we're really excited to show everyone the ropes about Seamless, show the best practices, some tips and tricks, and really just how to succeed most effectively using the Seamless.AI platform. We'll show you in-app, we'll show you using our great Chrome extension, and we'll just show you all the highlights of how our most successful customers are using the Seamless.ai platform. So we've really modeled this demo not necessarily around how we've built the platform or how we think you should use it, but more about how our most successful users are using the platform. So we'll go ahead and share some of those cases for use, and looking forward to having you guys share with us your experiences as well. So as you continue to filter in here today, just a couple of quick housekeeping items. So at the bottom, you will see there is a Q&A box. And so that Q&A box is the best place for you to go ahead and ask us any questions. So if anything comes up as we're going through the demo, anything pops up, you'd like us to elaborate on more, you'd like us to go a little bit deeper with, or you just have a general question about, feel free to use that Q&A box down at the bottom. And what that'll do is it'll shoot us a quick note, and we will then go ahead and do our best to either answer that directly within that Q&A section. So again, the Q&A box down there at the bottom, if you have any questions, type in your question right in there. We'll go ahead and either type you an answer back, or we'll go ahead also and do our best to answer that directly in the flow of the demo as well. So David Toll, who's going to be leading our demo, our Director of Customer Success, is going to keep an eye on, along with me, those Q&A questions that do come in. And as they come in, we'll make sure to answer those as best we can in the flow of the conversation and the flow of the demo. So here, just waiting for 1 or 2 more people to drop in here, but right at 4:05 after the hour, we'll go ahead and get that demo kick-started. So looking forward to get everyone started. But as we dive in here, feel free to use that Q&A box liberally if you have any questions. Odds are, if you have a question, somebody else on this call or somebody else watching this recording in the future may have a similar question. So don't be shy. Go ahead and type any questions that you have right in that Q&A section, and we will make sure to do our best to answer those questions as part of this demo. But we'll go ahead and get kickstarted here so we can dive right into the best practices, tips and tricks, and all of the best ways that you can use Seamless and become a power user that we've modeled this demo after. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to David Toll, who, as I mentioned, is our Director of Customer Success. So thanks again. Hope you enjoy the demo. And David, take it away.
Thank you, Jake. All right, we're excited to get going here now that we're about 5 after the hour. As Jake mentioned, he is our VP of Product, one of the smartest people at the company to give an intro. So I'll try to earn the introduction as our Director of Customer Success. we're fortunate here at Seamless.AI as a customer success team to work so closely in concert with our product team. So Jake, thank you for the introduction, and thank you always for working closely to make sure that we can raise the voice of our customers and provide demonstrations like this that help us carry forward with the pro tips that our power users have developed to see wild success using Seamless.ai, so we can share them with you, everybody on this call today, so you can go forward and replicate that same wild success. So as Jake said, please make liberal use of the question and answer feature on the webinar. I do have a tendency to try to work in the answers as part of the demo and respond in real time as much as possible. But even if we don't get quite to everybody, we'll make sure to follow up with any questions that we don't have time for today. But usually we're able to work them in pretty effectively as we go. So what we'll look at today, just to give us a quick overview, we're going to look at how to search natively within the app here at Seamless.ai. When you log in, you'll see two different searches: find contacts, find companies. We will review each one to show you, anywhere from the basic ways to leverage it to a couple of pro tips that our power users have developed, as mentioned. We'll also take a look at your settings so that you can not only make sure that you're set up with some of the basic functionality that comes with every account, but that you are up to speed on some features and integrations that'll help you tie Seamless and the data you collect here into the rest of your technology stack to really build out as many efficiencies as possible. And then we will take a look at the Chrome extension. You can see I have that installed here in my browser, and how that allows you to take Seamless with you outside of the app. So we'll look at that specifically over LinkedIn Sales Navigator. You can also use it in LinkedIn Recruiter, and a couple of other features. And we're working on rolling out some enhancements soon here that will provide you access to even more resources using the Chrome extension. But we'll take a look at LinkedIn Sales Navigator because, again, as Jake mentioned, we've designed this webinar to demonstrate to you not just how to use the platform, but how to use it like our most successful customers. And that is one of the behaviors that they've exhibited. We've had customers download the Chrome extension, start a 30-day free trial with LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and have such tremendous success that they went ahead and invested in licenses in that product for their team as well. It's not an effort to upsell you. We don't get any real benefit from you using a different product from ours, but we just know that customers have had success. So we want to show you that. We want to share that. We want you to be part of that growth that the rest of our customer base is experiencing. So it's not just limited to our platform. We'll show you anything and everything about how to use the power of real-time search data to grow your business, book more qualified meetings, bring more customers in, etc. So we'll get started here by looking at the in-app search first. Before we do, I'm going to call attention to a couple of quick features that are admittedly near and dear to my heart, somewhat selfishly, as our Director of Customer Success. Once you hop off this webinar, we expect you to jump in, start doing some searching of your own, building the list that's going to change your life. Now, you might need some help along the way, right? And you'll be able to access the recording of this webinar. We'll make sure that it's posted in our Knowledge Center. But if you're in the app and you still need help, we're just a click away right down here in the bottom right-hand corner. When you click on that help icon, it's going to populate a searchable web widget of our entire knowledge base. So if I want to get a little bit more information about how I can integrate Seamless.ai contact data into my CRM, I can search, select an article, watch a video in-app, go through a user guide, on-demand training, instruction guides, etc. Pretty much anything you could think of is going to be available in here. And then if you want to click out on that little box, that'll take you into the knowledge base so you can continue to browse, go through quick sales hack demonstrations, Seamless 101, advanced search strategies, on-demand video training, etc. And then we will include, like I mentioned, we post these daily webinar recordings in here as well so that you can follow up and review specifically what we covered today. You can also go back over other webinars that have been held in the past. We want to make as much content available to you as possible to help you master using Seamless, and then to help you master what you do next with this data as well. For instance, we do direct post right here to our founder and CEO, Brandon Bernanson's podcast, Sales Secrets from the Top 1%. So you can keep up here and make sure you're subscribed to that podcast where Brandon is interviewing the top people in the sales world every week, twice a week, in fact, to share with you what they are doing with the data that they get to use to reach out to their total addressable market and get their product in the hands of the right people. So yes, absolutely. We want to make sure you know how to use this platform. We also want to make sure that you feel like you have everything you need to move forward and get your product into the hands of people whose lives are going to be changed by your products and services, right? So if you don't find the answer you're looking for in the knowledge base, go ahead and click contact us. Let us know why you're reaching out. And again, it can go beyond functionality of the platform. Let us know exactly what you're trying to do. Let us know what's going to help you be successful. And our team will go to work on making sure you get what you need to be pointed in the right direction. One other quick note, if you are on any page here on the app or the website, you'll see this little tour icon. That's going to follow you around no matter what section you're using. If you click on that, you're going to get a little pop-up from Jake, our VP of Product, who just introduced the webinar. That's him. He's much bigger in real life, by the way. But he's going to walk you through in a kind of AI chatbot style guided tour of different features and functionality on the platform. And this is going to change depending on what page you're on. So if you're in my contacts or my companies or somewhere else in your settings, a different tour will populate. We'll usually automatically generate some of these when we have new features to announce, new products or offerings that we want to get in front of you to make sure you know how to use. You can always exit out of them if you see them, but I, of course, recommend following them all the way through to the end. Again, we want to make sure you are a master at using this platform to find the right people to get your products and services in front of. All right, so please, during the course of this webinar, make liberal use of the Q&A. That's part of the screen you have pulled up. But going forward, this is going to be your best resource, not just the knowledge base, but also contacting our customer success team with anything you need. And if you're on a Seamless.AI unlimited license, you do get priority response. We get back to everybody, but if you're on an unlimited license, you get prioritized in the queue, you get to skip a line, and make sure that you get support from our success team as quickly as possible. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into using the search here in the application. One thing I always call out before we start to demonstrate a few different search strategies, a quick reminder that this is a search engine. And I call that out because for ourselves too, if any of us who are sales professionals, if you've been in the space long enough, you've grown used to using database style solutions, right? And that's why many of you are here. You've been using database style solutions and you want to move on to what's new. You need to take advantage of emerging technology like this to get to more of your total addressable market. That's smart. You're incredibly savvy for being here and using this product, of course. But for all of us, we still have ingrained habits that we carry over from that old way of working. We just do. Doesn't matter how smart we are. We're humans, right? So we're going to catch moments where we start to behave or let ourselves slip back into the same behavior that we would exhibit using a database style solution. I know that it's going to happen because we see it happen with almost all of our customers. So I always throw out that reminder. We are not in the database. This is not a database. You're not searching a database. You're searching real-time information. And then we are getting you the most up-to-date details, contact information, emails, phone numbers, that based on the search parameters you're setting in. We're also performing additional validation on that contact information so you can move forward with confidence that this is going to be effective. So I always make sure to call that out. We're in a search engine, not a database. And we'll mention a few things along the way that do differentiate the best way to use this tool as opposed to some of the behaviors that we've ingrained using a database-style solution. So let's go ahead and jump in. Like I stated earlier, we've got two different types of search here, both in real time. Find contacts and find companies. They have separate parameters, as you'll see, right? Now, we built these searches to best tie in the data sets that are out there for contacts and companies to help you get as quickly as possible to the right information, right? There are ways to tie some of these data points together. So if you are looking for contacts by some of these filters, we'll get to how to do that. For now, I'm just going to demonstrate find contacts as it is today. But we'll go through a couple of use cases that customers of ours deploy when it comes to how you're targeting people with your search. So we'll go through a number of these. And of course, use the Q&A if there are any particular use cases you'd like us to walk through so we can demonstrate that for you. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to follow the prompt just so we can look at the pretty straightforward functionality. I'm going to pick Nike, one of the companies that's suggested there as an example. And then the rest of my fields here are titles, keywords, and names. Now, for instance, name. If I know the person that I'm trying to look for and I just don't have their contact information, but I would like to get it, this is where I can enter in their name, see if I can find them, right? Now, one use case we have here from one of our most successful customers, they will use Seamless to build out lists at scale and get thousands of contacts set up with real-time data that they have confidence in, that goes beyond what they're able to find in a database solution, usually anywhere from 80 to 90% beyond the total addressable market you find in solutions like that. But they're not only doing that at scale, they'll have dedicated teams that go out to trade shows, work a booth, and they'll generate leads that way as well in person, right? And yeah, you're working as hard as you can to get a business card or a LinkedIn connection right on the spot, but inevitably you're going to have some follow through to perform. So they actually use the name feature here pretty religiously to make sure that they can find that contact information of some of the people they meet at these trade shows where they don't get as much contact information as you did before. Like I'm guilty of forgetting my business cards more times than I'd like to admit, right? But this way you can still follow up. And then titles and keywords. So titles, obviously I'm looking for things like, I'd love to talk to the CEO at Nike. But what I'm going to recommend, and this is one of those behaviors that our power users have exhibited. So one of these power user pro tips is to cast a wide net. How you use titles and how you use keywords is a big part of how wide of a net you cast when searching using Seamless.AI. Now, the majority of our teams and our customers have grown up in a world where I'm used to looking for the primary decision makers. I'm trying to target the C-suite. I'm trying to get that phone number, trying to get that email address. That makes sense. I'm not going to tell you to stop doing that. I would love to get on the phone with the CEO of Nike to discuss our products and services. But what we've seen customers have success with is casting a wide net across some of these other roles, director, VP. And the reason they've changed that behavior is they've kind of checked themselves to say, why am I limiting myself to one specific audience? Well, in many cases, the reason we're limiting ourselves is we had been paying database style solutions to work our way up the organizational ladder. And I have to make sure I'm making the most of my investment. If I'm going to, invest in getting CEO contact intel or director or VP or whatever, I'm paying per tier, right? There are, these tiered pricing models that exist for different organizational levels of contacts. Well, we don't work that way. We've democratized the data, so you can use, especially if you're on a Seamless.AI unlimited license, you can search for all of these titles, right, and cast a wide net, and you'd be surprised the number of decision makers who live at a VP or director role in different organizations in your market. So that way, the goal, of course, you want to book more qualified meetings, you want to close more business. So that's one power user pro tip you can follow. Cast a wide net. Look for titles that normally wouldn't be included as part of your search, because why not? If you're on an unlimited license, you have unlimited access to the platform, you owe it to yourself to build out as thorough a list as possible and get as many inroads as you can in an organization. Another way too, the keyword function can go even wider than that. And if I used a keyword like marketing, that allows me to bring in contacts who don't necessarily have marketing as part of their title, but there's something in their bio or their body of work or the other data that we're presenting back to you that indicates they're involved in marketing. They have influence. They may even be a decision maker. So depending on what your products and services are and what your sales strategy is and how wide of a net you want to cast, you can use keywords to go very broad, even beyond title. And then you can use title to look for multiple levels in an organization to follow that power user behavior and try to cast as wide a net as you can. Now, that's all a bit about the how. I'm sure you want to get into what the data looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and settle on these parameters, hit search. And once I do, you can see Seamless.ai is researching millions of contacts out there to find ones that fit the parameters that you set. So as you can see, we've pulled in some potential contacts. I don't have any information on them yet. The way our platform works, we will pull in contacts in data sets like these in real time. And if you hit that next button, the search will run again. And then it'll continue to run until we've exhausted all potential contacts that are out there in the space. Now that changes in real time. So if more contacts materialize while I'm running this search, they will be added on. That's why you don't see a countdown here yet, because every time I hit next, I'm rerunning this search to look for more beyond these top 10 that we just pulled in. Now, I know that you're probably going to be tempted to click right to find email, right to find, right? You want to get that data. I completely understand that impulse, but there's one very important thing I'm going to ask you to do first. This is very important. It's going to save you a lot of time and efficiency later, and it's going to help you adopt some of those power user behaviors in how you manage your lead list data. See over here where I've got this list set, Ohio, bio, 1K to 5K. If you're new to Seamless, this is what that button is going to look like to you. It's going to say Set Default List. Now, what you can do here is enter in a list that matches the type of campaign you're running. So if you're new to Seamless, what I would recommend doing before you even search for anybody is jump in here to set default list and set up a couple of different lists that match the campaigns you're pursuing right now, right? Get them typed in. All you have to do is then hit the plus button. They get added to your lists that you can add contacts to automatically as you search for them. So in this case, I've already got a Nike list in place. I'm going to go ahead and add that as my default list. This is going to help me down the road as I'm either importing this data into a CRM or if I'm downloading it onto a spreadsheet. But I want you to watch what happens when I find these contacts. Now, here again, I'm going to demonstrate another power user pro tip. You can go through individually and kind of, dink and dunk your way through this list and find the, precise people you want to. You absolutely can. That's possible. We give you that capability. Our power users don't do that. What our power users hit is find all. Find all is going to pull in and research contact data for everybody on this page of search. So it's a good way to move with confidence through the data that you're collecting. And then power users will quickly hit next. The next round of data will get pulled in. They'll hit find all. If you find yourself hitting next and find all in rapid succession, you are doing something right. That is how we build lists at scale. That's how our power users build lists at scale. And as you move forward, we'll continue to bring in more results. Now, let's take a look here at the data that we're collecting, just so you can get a feel for what you're seeing. Email and phone, right? If I click on any of this contact information, that's going to generate for me more insights into the validation are we searching and gathering this information. Now, again, we're not scraping anything. We're taking publicly available data and bringing it back to you, but we're being smart about what we're prioritizing and using a multi-step AI validation process, which you can learn more about through that guided tour I told you about. You can click that right here if you want to go more in depth into how this all works. And then you can hover over each one of these for more detail on what step of the validation process is being performed on the contact data in question. Then you've got that AI confidence score over here on the right, so the total result of what we've pulled together for you. So 72% certainty, that's the right phone number for the company, 67% for the contact phone number, which is pretty high. And then down here, for example, if you're wondering, well, David, what's this multi-step validation process that you're performing, right? Here's an example. For Rami's email, right, we're not just gathering the email address and providing it to you based on count. We're also sending a virtual email to Nike's server to validate whether or not we get a response back indicating that email is correct. So for all of these email addresses that we found through search, right, we're getting an invalid response. We're telling you not to reach out to those. But these two are valid. So even though the count on this is a little bit lower, it's a valid email address. So we give you full confidence that you can use it. Obviously, there's a much higher count for this one. But these are all things that you can incorporate as part of your overall strategy of how you want to use this data going forward. Right. So let's take a closer look here at the Intel column, the next column over, right? There are some features here that are obviously, pretty useful if you're looking to learn more about an individual contact. I can open up Alex's LinkedIn profile, Twitter profile, Facebook, etc. This icon, if you're not familiar with it, is the logo for HubSpot because I currently have our native integration with HubSpot installed. We will take some time to look at that part of the process as well. But what I want to draw your attention to first is the contact intelligence feature that's listed next to all these social media icons. In part because I think it's very easy to move past this feature quickly on your way to building a list. But I want to call it out because, again, a lot of our most successful customers have leveraged this data across a couple of fronts. One of the ways they'll use it is to build intelligent scripts to reach out to Alex and other contacts that they have on their list. In fact, our SDRs will often use this to put together a personalized pitch to these clients because you're able to quickly pull in. You can jump to his LinkedIn profile, jump to Twitter, whatever Google research is out there. And then the wealth of information you have at a company level as well, right? What are the recent financial news for Nike? Paid search intelligence, website graders, job postings, employee reviews. You can pull together all of this information because we're already pulling it together for you. This is what we use to search and validate data across multiple sources to bring in as much real-time data as possible to get information back to you. So it made perfect sense to package it together into contact intelligence that you can then leverage as part of your pitch. Now, I want you to remember this section when we get to our CRM integration and how you can map different fields into Salesforce or HubSpot for further use by your team, because it's going to be relevant there later. But if nothing else, it's a good section to get familiar with if you're looking for more ways for you or your team to personalize their pitch and make sure that what you're providing to Alex is relevant. You want to change Alex's life, right? You want to get products and services their way that will be meaningful and have an impact on their day-to-day. So the more you learn about them, the more you'll be able to assess whether or not that's going to be the case, and you'll be ready to convince Alex that that is true and that they should partner with you. All right, so looking through a couple of other features here, we designate company phone or contact phone based on the little icon there. But if you want to be able to scale based on some of those filters a little more directly, My Contacts is where you can do that. So when I just moved back here, right, I had been in search where I can keep going and hit next, but I don't have a count, right? Once you go to My Contacts, I can start to gather a count of how many contacts I've saved. So these are contacts that have been found. We've validated the information, and we've gone beyond that find process, right? Now, let's say I want to get a count of the contacts at Nike that I've been able to find so far. So I'm going to go ahead and filter right here, right? So all of these columns have these different filters available. This list filter is going to be critical for keeping your data organized around import and export, and it's one of the reasons why I took some time to call out setting a default list so early in the demo. So when I click that Nike DM list and hit apply, now I'm only looking at the contacts that I have saved to that list. And I can get a countdown here of how many I've pulled in on this list so far. So let's say I'm not satisfied and I say, okay, 20 is not enough. I got to go back and I got to find more. I can hop right back in here, hit next, hit find all again, and in real time, all of those contacts are being researched and saved to My Contacts, and I can see that list go up once I apply that filter again for Nike DMs. So it's a great way to track your progress, make sure that you're hitting your goals. You obviously, you got to have some kind of formula in place that tells you, how big your list needs to be in order to book enough qualified meetings, what your held rate is, and percentage of meetings that end up closing as new business, right? So this is your starting point to make sure you're building the list effectively. A couple of other features that you'll want to be mindful of here. Once I do apply that filter, and I should note, you can also apply filters on the email and phone level. If you only want to look at validated emails, if you only want to look at contact phones, for instance, maybe you're not interested in reaching out to the company phone, you just want to do contact phones, great. You can filter here. And then once I apply that, there are a couple of things that I can do. Now, if you don't have a direct integration with HubSpot or Salesforce, those are the CRMs to whom we directly integrate, I'll look at a few other ways here on this demo shortly that you can connect and automate the data that Seamless is providing you to the rest of your technology stack. But let's say you're using another CRM and you just want to go through the process of downloading a spreadsheet here that you can manually import, which is what a lot of our customers do if they're not using Salesforce or HubSpot. Once I have this filter deployed, I can click right over here to download, and this is going to give me options to get a spreadsheet in place for this list of contacts that I've got filtered for here. So if I hit download filtered clean, that's going to give me my list of Nike DMs. It's just going to isolate to those contacts, and it's going to isolate to direct to contact numbers because that's the filter that I've selected here on the email and phone level. Download all is going to give me all of my data. So anytime I want to download everything and slice and dice it myself within Excel, that's definitely something that I can do. Now, one question, if you're paying attention that I'm sure you have, is what's the difference between clean and raw on these filters, right? The clean file is what the vast majority of our customers use. That's still going to give you more than you probably need. We'll err on the side of oversharing to give you as much data as possible so you don't have to come back and re-download anything. But the raw file is going to go even further. It's going to give you information that we weren't able to validate on our own. And honestly, the customers who use it, few and far between, but we want to make it available. If you're a dedicated data hound and you have maybe additional validation tools on your end that you want to, pass them through again and see if you can make something out of it, absolutely. We make all the data available to you. But if you want to move with the most straightforward version, the clean, download filtered clean is going to be the way to go. Now, I can also import. Now, like I said, I've got this CRM integration set up. We'll go through how you can configure that here in just a moment. But if I want to import all of these leads into HubSpot, because I have that integration in place right now, I could hit import filtered because I've got my Nike DM list filtered here, right? Import all will import everything. So, you also have the option of downloading individual contacts, and I can do that by clicking right here on that icon. That'll take me into HubSpot where I can see the contact deployed, right? And everything's automatically pulled over. Email address, phone number, title, etc. Now, let's take a look at some options you have when it comes to CRM integration. As you see how all of these are automatically set to that orange color, right? That's because I also have settings in place. I'm going to go ahead and click through here. I've got settings in place to automatically import my lead and contact data right into HubSpot. And that's an efficiency that a lot of our customers deploy so that no matter where you're searching from in the app or using the Chrome extension, everything you're searching for is automatically porting over to your CRM. So having efficiencies in place like that can be a real game changer, and it is absolutely something that our power users do. When you go into setup, you'll see some basic, get a chance to take a tour. This will take you to our Knowledge Center and our 101 instruction guide. A reminder to download the Chrome extension. If you haven't downloaded the Chrome extension yet, go and do that right now. It is by far our most popular feature. And we're looking at ways to make even more improvements and double down on that success that we've had with it. And then you can add to your CRM. Now, this will allow you to add Salesforce or HubSpot. We do also have an integration with Outreach set up. It doesn't allow you to integrate with both HubSpot and Outreach or both Salesforce and Outreach, but it's all part of our effort to make sure that we are as expansively as possible, integrating with as much of your tech stack as we can. We've actually expanded the number of resources that we have dedicated to integration for the rest of Q3 and Q4. So you should expect more of these to come down the line, including the ability to integrate with more than one platform at once if you use both Salesforce and Outreach, for example. For now, most of our customers who use both are using the perfectly fine Salesforce and Outreach integration that already exists and letting the data fire into their CRM first and then fall into an Outreach email marketing cadence. But all of that depends on how you have your CRM set up. So from within your settings, you can configure your mapping to determine what data transfers over to your CRM and how it transfers over. We have some basic settings set up here for you. You can set them up at an organizational level if you have more than one person on your team using Seamless. You can set it up so everybody has the same permissions across the board. You can also allow them to set personal settings if people are searching in different ways and you want to give them a little more leeway to do that. Most people are using the org settings because they'll have some organizational structure or best practices around how they want their team to search and some consistency around what data is being pulled in. But you have options. And then, of course, along these fronts, you can decide if you want to automatically import to HubSpot or not. Do you want to overwrite existing company or contact data? One of the benefits of the CRM integration as well is we're automatically going to deduplicate any information that you are searching for in Seamless that already exists in your CRM. So there are ways that you can customize that here in these settings. And then the mapping is available right down here. And as you can see, like we already set up some pre-built field mappings based on what we think is going to be some basic information that you'll need. But you can also add new mappings. And this is why I asked you to remember some of that contact intelligence data from earlier. Because if you want to send over that finance, the Google research, the local sports teams, SEC filings, SEO research, if you want that to link over into your HubSpot or Salesforce instance, you can do that from here. Right? So you can take that same data that we're making available in the contact intelligence feature, and you can get it into your CRM for further user lead scoring by your team. You can also add custom mapping, so that if there are attributes that you want to port over every single time from Seamless that aren't represented as part of our data set, but you wanted to fire every time, or maybe for a particular campaign, that's also something that you can do. So again, we have this set up, basic field mappings and settings in place for you to run with it right out of the gate. In order to connect, demonstrate that for, and no, I don't have to change my settings, thank you. But let's say I want to connect to Salesforce. All I have to do is open that pop-up. Once I clicked on connect to Salesforce, it's added, it's got my login information saved. So it's very easy to switch back and forth between these two. As long as you have your credentials in place, we handle it from there, and then you can go to CRM setup to personalize how you want it to look. To quickly jump back into connected apps, as you can see, this is a good overview of the different features that we connect with. Zapier. If you are not familiar with Zapier, I highly recommend giving it a look. We are part of their product ecosystem. We actually use it pretty frequently to tie different products together. And if you're not familiar, basically what Zapier does is build connective bridges between every technology product you can probably imagine in the space. You don't need to know how to write a line of code to tie these together. Zapier has pre-built sort of choose-your-own-adventure automations that help you pass data from one technology product to another without needing a direct integration or use of really getting hands-on with the API. For instance, you don't see, we're working on, integrations down the line with CRMs like Zoho or Pipedrive or SalesLoft as examples of dialers or Mojo. We're looking for as many products as possible to natively integrate with. We're working on that and layering more of those out. In the meantime, though, we have this bridge with Zapier. So if you want to build an automation that saves these phone numbers to a call list in SalesLoft or Mojo every single time you save them to your account, you can do that through Zapier. If you want to send the email address or phone number information over to Zoho or Pipedrive or another CRM, you can do that through Zapier. So again, you can get there by going to settings and then going to connected apps. Click on that Zapier integration. You'll be invited to the beta experience in Zapier that allows you to make use of Seamless.AI so you can move forward and build that data automation between different products, right? And you can see, I'll quickly show, sort of the breadth. These are examples of the technology products that integrate. So lots of opportunities to build efficiency here. You got to sign up for an account. A lot of it's free. Some of them are premium features, but definitely worth a look if you're interested in building some efficiencies between Seamless and the rest of your technology products. There's some other features here in your settings as well. User management, obviously. So if you're looking to add people to your account, we make it easy for you to invite new members, either many at once or one at a time. If you want to get more licenses for your organization and assign those directly from within this portal, that's also something you can do. Make it very easy for you to upgrade your account. And of course, we're here to help if you have any questions along the way. But that's where you're going to spend most of your time managing, if you're moving licenses around across a team or bringing on new people and you're experiencing growth, you're going to spend a lot of time in here. And then billing, obviously pretty straightforward as well. Good place to go to get invoices, set payment information, etc. All right. So I'm taking a quick look at our Q&A. I haven't seen any questions come in yet. That's perfectly fine, not to worry. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into my companies here so we can take a look at this part of the search experience as well. So we do have a different set of parameters here, right, than we had in Find Contacts. So we have industry. So I can select architecture and planning as an industry. I can select a region. So I could, I could go outside of the U.S. We do have data available outside of the U.S., of course. But if I want to zero in on a particular state, that's something I can do within here. I can also drill down all the way to a specific location within California if I wanted to. And then I can look at different headcount or revenue sizes, etc. So let's say I'm looking for some medium-sized shops, maybe a little bit bigger there too. The experience is very similar. I'll hit search, and Seamless will pull in companies that match my parameters that are in California for architecture and planning in those sizes. Now, there are a couple of things I can do from here. If I'm working on an account-based level and I want to save these companies for future use and start to target those accounts and grow them, I can add these companies to a list here that I can use to track my progress. But if you're looking to find people at these organizations, the quickest way to do that is to hit Select All over here on the right. And I want you to watch what happens over here in Find Contacts when I hit Select All. As you can see, it has automatically added the first 10 companies on that list as title filters, or company filters rather, for Find Contacts. So now I can actually use the keyword function that we talked about earlier, cast a wide net and look for some marketing context. And again, this is going to go beyond the job title, and it's going to go into their bio and the rest of their body of work to find folks associated with marketing. I can hit search, and that way I'm able to track down people who work at these companies. Now I'm going to go ahead and set a list here. I've already got one, I think, for Architect California, right? But I'll save it to a general architect list for now and pull those contacts in. So that's one way to go about it, right? We do tie these features together so that you can stay in the app if that's what you want to do. Part of the benefit there is you're able to use our real-time search engine to find this data, and you're not relying on any outside sources. However, I will say that most of our customers who are targeting contacts with some of these filters that you see on the company side, like if you're looking for people who are in a specific state, in a specific industry, at companies of specific headcounts, revenue counts, etc., if you've got some robust filters you want to apply, both our customers who also are doing the same thing, they're generally not using the app to do that. They're using our social search, which is really effectively our Chrome extension, layered over LinkedIn or LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So I'm going to continue the search in there so you can see what that looks like. And if you haven't tried a free trial of Sales Navigator yet, or if you're not already a customer, I would recommend giving it a look, because as you can see, you have access to much stronger filters here. Because again, this is a database, right? Search engine, database. We as sales professionals have given LinkedIn a ton of information. They're storing it here. And as a result, you're able to build a pretty robust set of parameters to help drill down to people. And once I set, some filters in place in LinkedIn Sales Navigator, now you can start to see where the Chrome extension layers right over the experience. So I can still find all of these contacts. If I want to bring Jude into my architect list, he's going to be in here in real time. So that way, if I want to validate, so there's a couple benefits this provides, right? It's great to find these contacts through LinkedIn Sales Navigator, but you're reliant on the data they've put in LinkedIn to be accurate, right? You also don't have the same ability here within LinkedIn to build lists at scale that you do in Seamless. So the Chrome extension allows you to pull that contact information back in to see if we can find some information for Jude, right? And what we're going to do is then validate the information. Let's take a look at Lori here, right? So that no matter what you find in LinkedIn, we'll tell you whether or not the information gets a good response. So in this case, we got an accept all response on the AI. That means we didn't get a solid yes or no as far as validation goes, but we can still score it based on the rest of the parameters we have in place to tell you what level of confidence you should have in that email address. And then there we have information from Jude as well. So we'll be able to tell you, is this, so we got a valid response back on that email, right? So we know that's going to be the correct contact information for him. And then as you build out your architect list, you can save all of these contacts. So again, you don't have to have LinkedIn Sales Navigator to use Seamless or use the Chrome extension, but this is one of the most common use cases of customers of ours who have had wild success. They've either already been a customer of Sales Navigator, or they've run a free trial to experiment and vet out the level of success they can anticipate. And every single time they have, they've gone ahead and invested in this product too, because it's given them an ability to target the audience that they're looking for and then bring everybody back at scale to Seamless. Now, if you're going to go that route, a couple of pro tips, right? 16 million results, that's a lot, right? And the way LinkedIn is built, I'm not going to be able to pull all that contact data in one go, right? You're going to be able to generate only about 1,000 search results per page based on their terms of use. It's not going to let you go all the way through. You got to get stopped at around 1,000. So you can run anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 searches per day, but you're going to run into limitations on the LinkedIn side because of the way their terms of use are set up. So what we recommend doing is adding additional filters here. So let's say I'm going to go ahead and get architect pulled up, make sure that I have the, I'm going to start to see that number come down. I can look at company headcount again, and I want to try to get this number under 1,000 if I can. So I'll go ahead and look at title as well. I think I should be able to, here we go. I can look at marketing as a keyword, enter that in. All right, and now I've gotten this down to about, around 1,000. This is usually what we will target. We'll target around 1,000 contacts because that's going to give us a better start and stop point for gathering this information. And again, there's that power user behavior I talked about in the app. Find all. When you click Find All, it automatically scrolls down. And again, we're not scraping any data from LinkedIn. We're using what's publicly available. We're just layering our search over their interface. And then once it scrolls back up, all of that information is being pulled back into Seamless for further validation and management within your lists. So again, getting a good, valid response in that owengroup.com domain. And then that power user behavior is to hit Next. and move on to find all as soon as I can. You got to let it scroll all the way down, and we do recommend having both Sales Navigator and the app open at the same time to get the best possible connectivity and results. But then I'm going to hit next, and I'm going to keep on plugging away. This is how we build our lists. Just to be like for our sales team to use to go out and grow our market, this is exactly what we do. So the people who use the product most frequently, this is exactly what they do to pull their list together. So this is definitely the type of behavior that you want to model. A few other notes, if you're working out of Sales Navigator, we do have the Chrome extension built out over lead lists as well. So if you already have lead lists in place, it's very easy for you to pull these together and hit find all on those too. You can set new lists from within Sales Navigator using the extension, and you can switch between them, and that will change in real time. And then, it's also really easy to just jump from, if you want to do a little more work through these folks, or if you're finding them through some other means and you end up on their LinkedIn profile, if I'm there, it's very easy for me to be on their profile, hit find, I'll pull that information in and be able to look at it within Seamless and keep it stored. And there you see Laura's email address is already right in there. So again, the biggest reason we highlight this particular use case for the Chrome extension is because so many customers have had success with it. You don't have to, but we highly recommend giving Sales Navigator and the Chrome extension in partnership with each other a try. Also, please be on the lookout in the coming weeks. We do have some very exciting updates to the Chrome extension in testing right now that we're thrilled to get out there. I'm going to be coy about what they are, but you'll be able to, suffice it to say, you'll be able to go even further beyond the experience we showed you today outside of LinkedIn. More to come on that front. We're very excited to get that out in front of you. All right, I'm taking another breath here to see if there are any questions coming in. I don't see any. We have gone ahead and covered the content we planned on, looking at both searches natively within the app and looking at how to leverage the Chrome extension to really dial into that power user behavior. So I think if I don't see any other questions come in the next few minutes, we'll go ahead and call our webinar a little bit early today. Really grateful to everybody for joining. We're excited to see what you do with the platform. Again, we're just a click away down here on the bottom right. If you need further help or support, send us an email, attach anything that would help us look at the screenshots, videos of what you're doing, data sets that you want us to take a look at. Anything would help us. Whatever helps us help you be successful. That's what we want to look at, right? So I don't see any other questions. So I think we'll go ahead and close it out. Thank you again. We are incredibly thrilled and honored to be part of your success strategy and part of your growth. We want you to be wildly successful. We want the information you get using Seamless.AI to be life-changing, both for you and for your customers. So please reach out if there's anything we can do to help drive your success within or without the platform. Good luck with the rest of the week as September gets started. If you're on a traditional quarterly strategy, you've got one more month in Q3. That's kind of where we are too, and we're looking to close it out strong as we head into Q4. So get searching, build out those lists, and start prospecting now, and make sure you come back every day to build the next list. Don't stop, because the other guy isn't either, right? You want to make sure you stay on top of getting this out to your total addressable market. So keep coming back. Let us know how we can help, and we're excited to be part of your growth and success. Take care, everybody.